Hi everybody, it's John back again with another final reveal video. Today it's the turn of the Frog 72nd scale Blenheim Mark 1F. The Frog kit might be ancient and it might look like it's not going to have much to offer, but in actual fact it does. I was quite impressed with this kit, the way this kit went together. It's not very easy to move, but it does have a moving rear gunner here. You can see that the gun moves quite nicely. There we go, that moves round. The machine gun doesn't elevate, but the actual turret does. Propellers go round nice and easy, no problem whatsoever. The wheels actually rotate on this kit, which is quite nice. And also you've got a nice ventral gun pack there as well, which is quite nice. The underside of this kit is painted in matte black. And then I gave it a nice underside coat and satin finish, Tamiya varnish, because I wanted the underside of the aircraft to be not dull and matte. I wanted to have a little sheen on it. And the top coat is done in Humbrol Matte 30 and Matte 29, the standard dark earth and dark green RAF camouflage. And then I utilised a couple of markings from another kit. There's a couple of markings on the front of the fuselage there. You can see that, I don't know if you can see it quite easily, but there's one on the nose section on both sides. And they're actually off another kit that they very closely resemble some markings that are on some photographs of Blenheims that I've got during World War II, photographs of this kit that I got off the internet. And the other markings were the fin flashes. The fin flashes on the kit, on this particular kit, were sourced from an alternative model, but they do not come with the Frog model. Now, some Blenheims were fitted with fin flashes and the fin flashes weren't applied at all. It depends which era the Blenheim served in. If it was during the Phoney War and during the Low Countries, the Battle of France and the Battle of Britain, the fin flashes didn't tend to be applied. But pre-war, 1938 to 1939, the fin flashes were applied, and also the upper roundels were the high vis type rather than the low vis type, which would have been on serving aircraft during World War II. So this aircraft is actually of a Blenheim Mark 1F, which would have been serving in RAF service just prior to the outbreak of World War II. And I wanted that colour scheme to come through on this kit because I actually quite like the overall look of the Blenheim with these markings on. It's quite nice. There are no markings on the underside of the aircraft, which is quite common with a lot of Bomber Command aircraft. You'll find that they're all matte black underneath. There's no markings whatsoever, and the undercarriage itself, they're matte black, completely matte black, and the wheel wells inside were painted interior green. The cockpit itself is actually quite nicely detailed. I don't know if I can show you. I don't know if you can see inside there. Can you see inside that cockpit? But there's two pilot figures inside that cockpit. And I actually scratch built because the part that was supposed to come in the kit was actually missing for the instrument panel, and you know, Frog doesn't even exist anymore, so you're never going to get a replacement part out of anybody for that, except maybe Revell, who actually do release this kit from time to time in a Revell box, and it's the same model. I think the last time it was released was a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago. But you might be able to get a replacement part from Revell. The canopy frame actually was quite easy to paint. The framework itself was quite raised from the rest of the glass panels, and I found it quite an easy paint to paint the canopy there, and it looks quite effective. and quite pleased with the way that came out. And the collector exhaust rings on the front of the engine cowlings there, they're painted in acrylic Tamiya brass. It's a brassy sort of copper colour, and they looked quite nice as well. And the engines are quite nice. I like the way this kit came out. And as an ancient old kit that Frog kits are, I'm actually really impressed with the way this kit went together, and it fitted together like a glove. I had no fit issues. Again, there was no filler utilised on this kit whatsoever. I didn't feel that it needed any, and I'm quite pleased with with the way this kit came out. It was quite nice. I was quite impressed with it. And yes, the propellers do blow round. You can see quite nicely. So that's the Frog Blenheim in 72nd scale. I did a Mark 1F version, Night Fighter with the gun pack underneath. The actual guns, I don't know if you can see them there, but I actually weathered the guns to have a sort of a rusty colour to them, to the guns and the surrounding there around the gun pack there, because I wanted them to look a little bit like they've been fired a few times. Do you know what I mean? And it did lend itself quite well. So I'm quite impressed with that. So that's the final reveal for the Frog Blenheim NF Mark 1. Sorry, it's not an NF Mark 1. It's a 1F fighter aircraft, which was utilised by Bomber Command. It wasn't a fighter command aircraft, it was a Bomber Command aircraft. Very important to remember that. So that's the final reveal. Any questions, any comments, please pop them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you for the next one. Thank you for now. Bye-bye.